is here
let's
and there.
get into what's more important today.
Then a mic switch.
Do you, I don't know if I'm the only one that does this. Do you, because we spoke about this before about like people from your, not your past, but like people you've met a long time ago and it's been a couple of years you haven't seen them, and about how like you and I kind of do the same thing where we ignore that person. Like we see them in public and we're like, they haven't spotted us. You're like, I would rather avoid the small talk with them. And I think we agreed we both do that.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. What if it's somebody that it's not from a distant future, but somebody who's like you recently had an interaction with, and then you run into them. Do you still play that like I would rather ignore them right now?
It depends who it is.
Like nobody
Like
like a friend, but like okay, so here's a prime example. I was at the car wash today getting the truck washed because the guys are coming in this weekend. So we were doing Hot Dad Summer at the cabin.
Had to throw it in there.
I have a quota of Hot Dad Summer lines I need to hit
in a day, yeah,
before I take off. And I pull them to the car wash. And after the car was washed, I come to the parking area where you're allowed to use their vacuums and the rest of the facilities.
But only if you get the car wash.
Only if you get the car wash. And Daddy got the best car wash. Okay,
Daddy got the premium.
Daddy can't tell the difference between the cheaper one and the more expensive one. But Daddy still got the more expensive one because Daddy believes in products.
It works.
And it could be a hoax. Who knows?
It probably is.
So which we need to get into a whole separate thing. There's a part of me thinking like, no, not hoaxes, but part of me thinks like car washes are like a scam. Like they do wash your car, but the level between a $7, a $12,
it's
and
all
an $18.
the same, I bet. You get the fancy
tire shine.
Well, you get the fancy like colors.
You get
the difference.
You're paying for it.
The three colored.
Well, then ask people,
yeah.
what kind of foam do you want? What color foam do you want?
Pink, green, and blue. Duh.
Chemicals, and this is getting us to a different place, but like chemicals are. It's hard for me to believe in chemicals. So after getting a fancy car have fancy paint on them.
Right.
It's not like a normal paint. It's like there's a whole different level of like a brand new Ford pickup truck paint and like an exotic car paint. And I've been down this rabbit hole about like, oh, well, I need to learn how to properly wash this thing because apparently I have to hand wash it and you can't just take a bucket.
The nice thing is it's small, so you don't have to hand wash a lot.
Oh my gosh. There are products. I had to order like, because I kept asking other people who have fancy cars and I was like, hey, like, how do you wash it? And they're like, send me to all these like kits that they have. And there's a process. Like,
How much would it cost if you hired it out?
I don't know. I don't.
I wonder if there's companies out
that
here
they'll
that
like
do
show
that.
up and like do it. I don't know, maybe. But like there's like 4 different chemicals you have to use on the exterior of the body every single time. And you have to go through when you dry them, it's God forbid you use a cotton towel. You have to use when you dry, you have to use a microfiber cloth. You fold it 4 ways and you put a special spray, which the spray is where the money's at. It keeps away the hard spots, right? So like after wash on a black car. Okay, I get that spray. But then there's like 3 other chemicals. Like you have to use this foam, not your everyday car wash foam. And then you have to use that spray, that conditioning spray. Okay, I get it. Gets rid of the hard spots during the drying process. And then you have to get this other coating on top of it. Oh, wait, but there's another one. Let's say you wash the car and there's still a little bit of dust because it was sitting in the garage that has like sawdust floating in the air. If you don't want to wash it, you take another microfiber cloth and you spray it on it and you do these one-dimensional, like each side. So imagine a towel, you fold it 4 ways. Each side is only 1 stroke. And then you twist it, fold it to the next side, 1 stroke, fold it to the third stroke. So you have to go through probably 20 different microfiber cloths because each one's intended for one direction. You have to, it's like having a dog. That's what I've learned.
That's probably like the extreme end of the spectrum, but you could get away with probably not doing it like that.
Well, what they're saying
and then you're going to
is,
ruin your car.
Well, they're saying it's not necessarily you're ruining. Like the level of...
You're just preserving
It's really the clear coat that's probably the most impressive part about these cars, right? Like there's a reason you can come up to...
Be honest, did you buy the kit?
I bought the kit. I knew it. Daddy bought the kit. And did Daddy buy...
He got suckered into it.
And did Daddy buy 96 microfiber cloths on Amazon? Yes, he did. No, because the thing is...
So it fooled you.
No, but like there's a true... I think it's strictly that clear coat. Like when the car was delivered, it's like piercing black as a mirror. It looked like a mirror to the point that you could see anything and everything that's on top of that car. You don't get that on, like, we can go to the dealership right now for Ford, Chevy, whatever. No paint job is going to look as clear as that. And so to me, I'm like, well, crap, I have to preserve this now.
Right.
I probably wouldn't have to do this on a white as much. But black, man, like it's so
you can see everything.
You could see everything, and the last thing is like I don't want to kick myself. I will say this: I did a no-no. I did a no-no first before doing this research. A few times I would take the car out after a little bit of dust settled on top of it. I would take a microfiber cloth because I knew they're much gentler, and I would swipe away the dust. And apparently that's a big taboo because what you're doing is on the microscopic level, you're using the dust. Imagine it to be like sandpaper. You're basically scratching that crystal clear glass.
So do you have to like use water to get it off? Like how do you get that dust off?
You have foam? You have to foam. And then, you basically, every time you do that process of washing your car.
Every time you get dust on
But listen, they have this chemical you can spray on a cloth. That's what they call it, emergency touch-up, whatever. Like, you spray it and it collects it without doing anything bad. Because I think it replaces... Their whole selling pitch is like, you keep layering up this clear coat. Yeah. That's what you're supposed to do to protect it. Yeah, there's a lot of upkeep. I actually thought...
So interesting.
I actually thought that maybe I should, like, wash it and put, like, this cover over it. But then I'm thinking that's going to grind all this dust back into it every time. So anywho, back to this car wash story. I come out of the car wash. I'm on my truck at this point because who cares, right? And I go and park the truck to start vacuuming. And there's a person to the left of me that I noticed that I recognized her. And I was like, oh, that's the bug girl. The girl that like I was talking to. She came, walked in the neighborhood, hustled me into getting the well, I didn't say hustle.
The whole package.
It's actually worth it because last house had a lot of bugs that came through it. And so I was like, okay, if there's a product that won't do it. So they have a service, they come out, they spray it. So anywho, she was a selling pitch person. And I knew her, right, from that conversation we had like a month ago. So it was not a person from a distant future or past. It was a person that I've interacted with. They weren't a friend, they're just a person but I didn't want that, oh, hey, you, like, would you?
No, in that instance, I wouldn't. I do one of two things. If it's somebody I like have barely interacted with, I will try to avoid them.
Okay.
Because I don't like that either. I don't really like making this like weird small talk that like you don't really know what to say to each other.
Now you park next to that person. What do you do?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. In that instance, I wait for the person to recognize me. Mm-hmm. If they don't recognize me, I'm good.
Are you trying to hide?
Kind of.
Yes.
So in that instance, I would like kind of just do my thing, pretend I didn't see them, and then when they say my name or say like, "Oh hey, I remember you," and then I'd be like, "Oh, I didn't see you."
Well, I'm glad you said that because that's exactly how I reacted. I legitimately, she parked on the left side. Well, she was already parked on the left side of me. I was on the right side of her car, and I stayed on the passenger side, the right side of my truck the entire time until I ran out of things to do. Like usually I have a system when washing cars.
Like okay, she'll be gone by then.
Dry, then I'm doing the wheels. I went like dry the right side, vacuum the right side, do the tires the right side.
Yeah.
And then finally I was like, crap, I have to go on that side. So I came over there and I had my back the whole time. But you see that person in your peripheral a little bit.
Yeah,
and I saw her stop a few times. And then she was like, oh, hey, hold on. I don't want to be, do I? Yeah. I kind of recognize, weren't you at the house? I was like, oh yeah, the bug girl. I was like, oh, and she's wearing the crotch,
so
the uniform,
and I was
like,
the worst ones are, because I do that. If it's in a store, I'm gone. I'm on the other side of the store. You switch
aisles, and I've seen you switch aisles.
Yeah, and I will stay there for like a solid. And if I see like that person anywhere, I just hit the other side.
Is it mostly about girls, like, or is it like guys, like a builder, a client you'd work with?
No, if it's like somebody that I've had less than like 5 interactions with, I already know it's going to be awkward, so like what's the point? Or if somebody like from my past where I'm like
high school or something,
this is going to be really weird, so I avoid them. The worst thing though is when you see that person and they see you at the exact same time. Have you had that happen?
Maybe.
I've had that happen a few times, and it's the worst because you can't avoid them. That's it. And then both of you
committed.
kind of do
You're
this
both
thing.
So committed. There's no return.
You make the eye contact at the same time, and it's like, who's gonna say it first?
Do you do that thing? Do you do that thing where like you both kind of point at each other and you both squint your eyes and you kind of go like this? Like it's the best image of your face of like you're thinking.
Yeah.
Like, hey.
Yes,
hey.
That's happened a couple times, or there's been a couple times where we both and this is like people that I've maybe had like one interaction with where we both make eye contact, but then pretend like we didn't see each other.
Oh, that's more awkward.
It is so weird.
Yeah. And then you got to pretend like you don't know them, because then here's what's going to happen. Because I think I've been in this situation where I kind of had this whole thing of like, do I know them? You know, when you stare at somebody a little too long, you go, is that so-and-so?
Yeah.
Or where do I know them from?
Yes.
And that person crosses their eyes when you're looking at them and trying to solve a puzzle. But maybe their face didn't respond as quickly. What's weirder is the next time around the loop,
when you
they
recognize
go,
them.
Hey, do I know you? And then you go, I don't know.
The worst is when you don't recognize the person and they recognize you.
Oh, they hit you with that, you probably don't know me, huh?
No. Not a fan. Not a fan.
No.
Hey, I follow your YouTube channel. No. You're awesome.
Well, no, remember our kids' friend, so we moved to this new neighborhood, and we noticed our kids are playing this, like, a bunch of different kids, and there's this one boy that they're playing with more often than, hey, bud. Okay. Hey, Jacko, we'll see you inside, bud. Okay. Thank you. Love
you, bye.
And then we're like, so they're playing all the time, and then you see their dad come, and he's like riding his bike. He goes, hey, he's not bothering you, is he? I was like, oh, no, he's cool. He's welcome here. And he's like, he hit me with that, you probably don't recognize me. You know? And I was like, I don't, I'm sorry. And I feel like such a jerk.
But the thing is, everybody's had that. Everybody's had those people that they just don't recognize because it's either been so long or your memory is just bad. And so I've had those interactions where it took me a solid few minutes to like figure out how I know them.
Yeah.
You know what it is? It's when it's out of context, when you see somebody in not a normal setting that you would see them. So like, for instance, the boys went to preschool at this preschool by our house when they were younger, and I saw their teacher every day. I dropped Jack off every day, saw his teacher, but then I saw her at the store, and because it was like out of context, I was like, who? I know her. How do I know her? Wait a sec. Yeah.
You weren't wearing the whistle. Yeah. How am I supposed to know who you are?
T-shirt. And it was like that thing where it was like, it took me like probably a solid, at least a minute or two to like wrap my brain around like, okay, this face looks familiar. It's not in the same setting as I usually see them like in. Where do I know them? And so like, I've had a lot of those.
Who are the psychos that come up to that person and be like, hey, excuse me, this sounds weird, but like,
a lot of people.
Why? Like this girl that did it, I was like, you have to be on the spectrum. Like, no knock on people on the spectrum, but like, you kind of have to be a little bit different to be like, I'm gonna go tap him on the shoulder.
It's just the outgoing people.
Oh, they make me tired.
It's the extroverts that are like, I've seen them before. I want to just like casually have a conversation.
She is a person that needs to be put under like a microscope by like psychologists, because here's the weird.
No, I don't think so. I think it's very normal.
Well, no.
We're just
let me give you a little backstory.
Let
me give some backstory about it. Well, I don't know if you and I are the anomalies, because I think a lot of people might relate to it, because there's a lot of people.
I think so, but I think a lot of people also don't relate and think, I do that all the time. What's the problem?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people who are like,
that do that.
Well, okay. What about the people, which I agree on with this 100%, the people who are like, get a phone call before getting a text message.
Oh.
Like, to me, that's aggressive. That's super aggressive. Like, don't
call me.
It's like showing up to my house without, like, I'm having dinner. What are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
Call me. Here's one worse. FaceTiming somebody?
I mean, some of my friends do, but
no. It's one thing if you guys are like texting back and forth, like, oh, we should do a FaceTime, or like we need, cool. But like to be like, Dan is sending me a FaceTime. Hey, what's up, dude? Like, no.
I've never had somebody do that.
Oh, I've had that done.
Only by my really good friends.
Really?
Really good friends. Yeah, and I don't mind. I mean,
interesting.
There's been times I don't reply, or my mom.
So
that's about it.
This particular gal, the bug gal, she needs to be studied by psychologists because.
You better hope she doesn't listen to this.
She probably doesn't. Here's the weird part, and if she does, hey, no offense.
Too late.
The first time I was introduced to the bug girl was we were at our friend's barbecue.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and then we were outside playing lawn games, cornhole with the guys. And here's this girl walking with a uniform, like a polo uniform. With a single bottle of water, which it's interesting to the detail because there's more. And she came to, I saw her come to the neighbors, like directly across where we were playing cornhole, And then she made casual small talk with us. Now, the owner of the house who invited us was already inside the house grilling. And she's like, hey, and I'm sitting in a lawn chair. And she's like, hey, are you the owner of the house? I was like, oh, no, he's inside, blah, blah. But whatever you're selling, we made a joke. All the guys here are like, whatever you're selling, sign us up. Whatever. And so the owner comes out. And so we're all like laughing because she's like, oh, I thought he was the owner. Oh, no, you're the owner, blah, blah. I was like, okay, well, you guys, I'll see you later. So she leaves. And so I was like, okay, that's the bug girl. And then not even 4 days later, I'm up front parking the truck, and it's the bug girl plus another guy who looks like an Abercrombie model, like just like put together, chiseled. And if you're born before 1988 and you don't know what Abercrombie is, sorry.
Look it up.
So they come up, and there is truly a talent that some of these people can razzle dazzle you. Like they're all like, dude, is that your truck? And I was like, oh yeah, that's my truck. I was like,
oh yeah,
that's
they know the sales game.
And you're like, how many miles are on it? And I was like,
who cares?
And listen, I'm the guy who has like the first thing when I do when I buy a house is I put a no soliciting sign. Yeah. I was like, don't talk to me, don't try to sell me. There's nothing more grosser than somebody trying to sell me on something. And this is coming from a guy who does ad reads on my YouTube channel. Like, but there's
please buy this product.
But if you show up to my house, like that's where I have a problem. And
right, you can skip through ads. That's fine.
You can skip through ads. That's fine. But not when I'm doing an ad read.
Don't skip through his ads. Buy everything he sells.
I need to make my mortgage payment. Please watch the ads.
and buy.
And I was like, oh yeah, you're the bug girl. You were at Dave's house. Whatever. She's like, oh, that's right. You guys were up front. I go, oh, hilarious, small. But you're so, I hate this about sales. There's people, I hate sales with a passion. And sometimes I'm a little bit rude to salespeople because I'm like, if I see you trying to force sale me on something, or you knocked on my door that has a no soliciting sign, I am now, you're an enemy of mine now. Like you're not a person. Yeah. Like so I'm so super, like my home is like my relaxing place. Please don't sell me on something. I have a sign that says do not solicit. I've heard
you. There's been a couple times where somebody comes trying to sell something and you go, dude, there's a sign.
Oh, no. You know how here's how these conversations go. It's like, hey, we're from so-and-so, the Idaho Power, they're running, because we were having a record-breaking 3 triple-digit temperatures for a while. They're like, hey, I'm so-and-so, we're from so-and-so, and Idaho Power sent us all a thing saying hey, they're running a special right now because we're about to collapse the power grid, right? These are triggering words. And there's truth to that, right? But and so they're doing a deal. And I was like, thanks, I'm not interested. He goes, don't you want to hear what the deal is about? And to me, I'm like, I'm assuming when you rung my doorbell, you saw that big sign that says no soliciting.
You chose.
So you go like some of the a little bit more forward, a little bit more aggressive. So I have a pretty strong gay audience that I'm all for. Okay, hey man, thanks for supporting my channel. Love you guys, appreciate it. I'm team people. Doesn't matter which walk of life you're from. But if you're aggressive and I say, hey, appreciate the support, heart emoji, thumbs up, worship hands, and you take it past that and you go like, I bet you I can convert you. And I go, hey man, you're being aggressive right now. I don't respect that. This is the way I'm seeing, and I've been in those shoes before, but this is the way I'm seeing these like sales guys to the door. So when I open the door, ding, ding, hey man, I'm so-and-so from so-and-so. The guy saw the big sign, the little 6x6 signs. That was very polite. Please do not solicit. And with cute font and stuff like that. Because cute font, because it's not aggressive.
It's not aggressive.
It's not the black and silver sticker, from the hardware stores. And he goes, I'm so-and-so. And this is, because everybody has a pitch. He does me this pitch. And I was like, oh, okay. So you saw the sign and you go, I bet you I can convert him. I can convert him.
It's like a challenge.
Yeah.
Like,
it's 100%.
I see the sign. I see the no soliciting. I'll get them.
Challenge accepted. That's what he goes. Old Barney Stinson, right?
Challenge accepted.
From How I Met Your Mother. And I go, and I was like, hey man, thanks, but I'm not interested. And I'm hoping he goes, okay, cool, thanks man, and walks away. That's the best way to do it. That guy took a shot. I said politely declined. Everybody walked away respectfully. But you go, don't you want to hear what the deal is?
No.
Hey man,
if I declined, I don't want to hear.
Hey man, I'm gonna break character right now and say, you saw that sign. Don't make me be that guy. Don't make me be that guy. I hate being that guy. And I pointed and be like, hey man, you saw the sign. No, I actually said, hey man, come on. Because come on, it's a little bit more like I'm pleading with you. Hey man, come on. You saw the sign. And they don't go, oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
like they go, like, okay, cool, see you, man.
Yeah.
Like they do
They
that
know.
because they're like,
They know.
oh. And you know what? I've
heard you do it once, and I feel like you were still pretty respectful.
Yeah.
Respectful when you did that.
Well, I try to be. It sucks being rude.
Like,
some people like being rude. I don't.
Yeah.
I think some people have this thing is like the waitress, like you ordered filet mignon and you just got a surf and turf or something. And I've seen some of your friends do this where you're like, oh, it's not what I ordered. And you're like, no. We're going to make this right.
Yeah. They do one of these.
Me.
Yeah. Oh, no.
I'm going to fix this. Excuse me. Yes, we ordered.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, jeez.
I just don't answer the door.
Oh my gosh! No! Don't put that evil on me. What you do is this: you go, oh, hey,
that's my husband.
hey, babe, there's somebody here.
That's exactly what I do. Let me ask my husband.
That is such
but
an out.
that's what I do everywhere.
That is such an out.
Well, because this thing that sucks is not to like play that like that card of like
you want me to be the bad guy,
like power, but girls
You're
get
losing...
hustled so
okay.
Much faster and quicker. Basically they get hustled more and easier. Yeah. Like I go get my car serviced. They tell me a million things that are wrong with the car. You go, they'll be like, everything looks fine.
Very true.
So true, because
so
they
true.
know like they can get away with that with girls, because we're like, so every time I go anywhere, it's always, hey, I'll talk to my husband and get back to you, because it's like I know. Like I'll say yes. Otherwise,
well, but you're also okay. And so in that defense, I've heard, because I mean I've had oil change done on my cars. I change my own oil on my truck, but like I've had things serviced plenty of times, and the end of the day, it's always about profit margin. And the way you increase the profit margin. Somebody comes in for a $35 oil change. How do we walk out with him spending $150 of the ticket price?
Right.
Which that sales is what makes the world go around. I get it. So there is a way that a lot of these service people, they service managers at these shops, whatever, what they do is they kind of read your body language and you as a person. So if you come in looking, you
don't know what you're talking about.
You don't look like an office nerd. They're like, hey, check it out. So we checked it out, changed the oil. Here's a couple of things we went through that our mechanic saw. First of all, tires, extremely low treads on it, and your battery terminals fully corroded, very dangerous in the wintertime. We're hearing a lot of stories of cars not starting up again. So they're starting.
The fear.
I don't want my car not start again. And then another thing, we checked your and this is the running joke. The headlight fluid running real low, dangerous levels.
The headlight fluid.
And so when they present themselves, they read your body language.
Yeah.
So if I come in a tank top, a little bit of muscle on me, and tattoos, and the guy's like, well, he's got dirty fingernails from pain. He's like, chances are he works with his own hands, so he does the work himself. He just needed somebody to do this. To win that guy's business is like, do what you promised to do it fast, and he'll come back to you every single time. But with the people, the computer tech guy that works in an office that needs to get his wife's oil change done, or the gal that's like, I'm picking the car up for my husband, or that's what we like. Brake pads, dangerous levels. Like, to me, I know what are dangerous levels of brake pads because my brake pads are going to start screeching.
Yes,
there's indicators that are built into these things. Be like, hey,
but
this is.
But majority of people don't know that.
They don't, and so the person tries to turn this into a ticket that's leveled up. Like, we're going to try to upgrade you on a ticket or upsell you. That's another one. So that's kind of what it is. Now I get it with those scenarios when it's like, hey, drop off, whatever. But when somebody comes into your dwelling, your own domain of like relaxation.
Well, that's my thing. Is like, I'm going to say yes right now. No, and I also can't say no. Yeah, I don't want to be mean. I'm going to let my husband be mean.
So you're going to tag me in. And listen, if you put me in a position.
You're in, coach.
Oh, my gosh.
Put me in, coach.
And another thing is like, first of all, I really despise large gatherings of like 4th of July's at a 1,000-person event that everybody's walking. Like, because there's always a lunatic somewhere.
Like those big like fireworks shows.
Fireworks shows. We haven't been to in a while. Like,
no, we haven't.
Thank God for that. Those gives me anxieties. Like, go to a parade.
Concert.
A lot of people, like, anytime there's a large thing that the city has to put on that requires closing off roads or whatever, that gives me anxiety because it's a numbers game. Of that many people, there's always going to be a weirdo, a drunk, or something for an event to happen. And so What I hate is like when you go to those things and somebody gives you a flyer. I hate that so much. Oh, I hate that so much.
I haven't had that happen in a while.
To me, it's like, hey, you throw this away.
Yeah.
You throw this away.
I'm going to give you this trash. You toss it.
Because who's reading it? How many, like, if we look at the analytics, because I get it, everything's a numbers game, but if you look at it, like, how many people called us because they were handed a flyer? We're probably 60. There are 60-year-olds who, like, don't know how to still check their emails, who I need a physical piece of paper to look at and be like, I'm going to put this on the fridge and
Which
get to
in essence, like, no, you're...
Did you say essence?
In that sense.
Oh, in that sense. I thought you said in essence, but you said in essence.
In essence.
I was like, oh, you have asthma. Asthma.
Asthma. In that sense, like maybe have your target audience for the flyers be a different demographic.
Be a bingo night.
Yes.
Bingo night.
No, I'm saying like, yeah, or if you're going to hand them out, like say, let's hand them out to this group of people that probably don't use the internet. But like, yeah, younger people, like, we're just going to toss those. We're not reading them.
We don't know what to do with cash. We don't know what to do with cash because usually there was a period of time, like maybe about a year and a half ago, a year at least.
Like actual dollar like bills?
Well, yeah. What I mean is like they'll be like, hey, I saw something on Facebook Marketplace. I saw something on Craigslist. First of all, if you're using Craigslist, you might as well go use the white pages too. Like
you're a creep.
You're a creep. Who uses Craigslist anymore? That is the most... Craigslist has been around for 25, 30 years, and they've still yet to hire somebody to spice up and improve their website.
It's sad.
It looks like the first coding that has ever been done, like that they taught us in high school. Today you're going to create a website. Anywho.
Okay. So, yeah, something's off there.
So the psychos that come up to you and be like, hey, don't I know you? And the people who still use Craigslist,
same people.
Same people. Same people.
Just stay away from our house.
Golly.
Also, we're just friendly next door neighbors.
Yeah, please don't kill us. So like before, it was like I found this on Facebook Marketplace. You show up, it's like, hey, you wanted this for $100? I got the $100, right? And you give them the $100. Nowadays, it's like Venmo this, Cash App that, Facebook Pay
safer
this.
too, if you think about it.
And it's like I don't have to go do like I have to hit the ATM, go to the ATM, get the thing, and now it's like you wanted $95 for it, but I only got $100 for it. I have to stop by Chevron, have them break the thing. Like now it's like, hey, cool. Like, or here's another great one. People will be like, hey, can I just send you the money and pick it up in a week? Cool, man. I'll mark it sold.
Yeah.
So
it's because people want to reserve it now, which is awesome because you can do that now.
So that's that transaction. The next transaction is like we're going to the bar, we're going to the restaurant. Like, what's our bill? It says, oh, can I do like $15 in that, and then the rest on the card? Like, who does that? And you know what?
$20 cash, and then.
And your wallets are getting smaller. Like girls' wallets are getting smaller and smaller. There was a day where like there was a running joke about big purses and how cluttered they are. But I'm willing to say, like, the time where you girls had these ginormous purses that big totes that you stand, put on the table, and it's upright, and there's a ton of a chihuahua in there, there's a curling iron. Yeah. Those days are gone.
All the things, a few pairs of jeans.
Jeans, right? Like those days are gone. Like those designer purses. Yes. I would say that. So you and I have been married 9 years this August, and I think the average size purse is at most, now we're saying average size purse, is probably 12 inches wide.
What's my camel color one? It's probably like this.
Sure.
And like that?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's basically, I don't know what the size of, but it's like a 12 by 10 inch tall. Mm-hmm. They're very small purses. And you guys do this minimalistic thing where some of them will carry, and you do it too.
Just like this, a clutch.
Like a tiny little clutch on a string.
Oh, yeah, the little crossbody bag.
First of all, who carries a clutch? A clutch is like you're going on a ballroom thing, and you have to hold this thing.
Yeah, people still do it.
Because if you have a purse.
I like having something on my shoulder.
You'd wear a shoulder thing with a ball gown?
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm too casual.
Yeah.
Ow. No, I just wouldn't bring it. Anything.
You're not too casual. You spice.
I would actually have a ball gown with pockets. That's what I would do, and put my phone in my wallet.
I can see that. You know why I say I can see that is because on average, your most comfortable stance is something with your hands in your pockets.
Yes, in my pockets. I love having my hands in my pockets.
Did you notice that I noticed that about you? You're like, and it's not like, because when guys do it, they're creepy guys that live in their mom's basement. Yes. And they're wearing like khakis.
Eye contact.
They're wearing khakis and a polo and the hands in the pockets.
Khakis.
And then when they talk, and the khakis are a little bit too high up on their waist. But when you do it.
The belt.
I feel like a lot of your jumpers, rumpers,
I have so many things with pockets because I absolutely love pockets.
But it's fun. It's whimsical. It's like you're like, hey, I'm up for whatever. Whenever a girl can put her hands in her pockets.
My wedding dress had pockets.
Did it really? No, it didn't.
No, it didn't. Maybe it didn't.
Jeez.
But I wish it did. Thinking back, I would have got a wedding dress with pockets.
Do you think that will make a turn?
I'll put like my phone.
Do you think?
No, there are wedding dresses with pockets. They're just so concealed. Like when it's like a gown that's kind of like poofier.
Put a pistol in there.
Yeah. Oh, you could just put that on around your
garter,
thigh.
like I think garter.
Yeah, garter
belt.
Okay,
Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Like, okay.
We should have a picture like that. It'd be fun.
That would be fun. We should work something on our like 10-year anniversary. Do like a fun like wedding photo shoot where like I get a tux, you get
that would be fun.
A cheesy wedding dress, and then we like just recreate a lot of the photos that we wish we would do.
Oh, like the cheesy photos?
Either like mix it cheesy photos and do like the obnoxious like gun poses, like just like everything and anything.
All the good stuff. That would be fun.
Like we would have to literally sit down like as like
we can rewrite our vows.
We'd get like Kyle and the production team like together and be like, okay, so we'll do like a shot of this and then jumping out of that and then like wake surfing on
with a wedding dress. Yeah. Oh, that would be like, good.
Cool stuff.
I just have to get better at it first. I have a year.
Well, which leads us to the next thing. I was like, you made which I thought was an unrealistic goal. Well, not because like I think less of you.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it.
No, it's because I didn't expect myself to be on that.
So we're on the same.
We're on the same
level,
right? And so if you don't know what we're talking about, like, so we have a wake surfing boat, right? It's basically a miniature boogie board that you hold the line. You're not strapped to the board, and you balance it. So it's really fun. It's like a kind of special kind of boat to do these kind of things. And we both got into it, which is funny because we bought it as a family purchase, and it's only Irene and I. And
our boys don't want to go.
And
they don't even want to go tubing.
Kids-less nights that we go on, like, so our kids are like
date night.
Yeah, and we'll just like surf and stuff like that. So, which is so much fun.
Yeah, we'll get a bunch of like adults
and
go.
Everybody gets sitters, and we'll just go. It's a blast. It's an absolute blast, especially in the evenings. But I was the first one on the board. You were kind of holding it down with mommy duty. You were holding Harper.
Yeah, that's the only thing is when you take the kids, I have Harper, so I can't.
I was trying to figure out how to get up on the board, and then you finally got up there, and like it was like one of those trades off of like for every 6 times that I got up on the board, the one time that you got on, all the 6 times worth of lessons, 6 to 10 like times that I've been on the board and the lessons that I learned. You learned all those lessons in one time being on the board, which means the second time you got on the board, you got up and all those lessons were already engraved in you. And I was like, okay, this is cool. Like, this is the fastest learner in the world.
I did snowboard for a long time.
Well, so did I, but it didn't help.
Did you?
Yeah.
But did you?
Did you break your collarbone?
Were you that guy that like snowboarded once a season and was like,
he tells everybody.
I love on your MySpace profile, favorite things, snowboarding. Wakeboarding.
I love to laugh. I love music.
Snowboarding.
Yeah. Make sure I have these strategic snowboarding pictures, like shredding. I'm like, I just ate it.
Well, you got the picture.
Mm-hmm. And so where we? Oh yeah. So. But yeah, what I was going with this was the weekend that is, first of all.
Well, you're talking about the goal I set for
the goal
myself.
You set, the unrealistic goal. You're like, my goal.
Beginning of the season, before I even went once.
Before you went once, yes.
So, backtracking just a little bit, I went one time last summer.
On a $6-figure boat.
Last summer?
Yeah, last summer. You were on a 6-figure boat, meaning like, you have to get up. Like, you can't not get up. Like, you pay the money.
Well, I had never done it before, though.
Well, right. But what I mean is, like, when you buy a 6-figure car, you're expecting that there's a lot of forgiveness in this car. That it like
maybe, but it's also a lot on you. I don't know.
It is. I think his boat creates a more perfect wave.
But this was before this boat. It was a different boat.
Oh, it was a different boat. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Never mind.
You just bought this boat.
That boat.
No, this was a different boat, but still probably 6 figures.
No, I know his previous one. It wasn't 6 figures.
But so it was almost a year ago, so Labor Day last year, a bunch of girls went, and so we all tried it, and that was like the very first time I ever went. A lot of it was just, like figuring out the wave, and I only went one time. Fast forward, we got a boat this February, so that was my second time I've gone ever.
Right.
But before I even went this summer, I told Alex, my goal this summer, by the end of the summer, It's to drop the rope.
I'm gonna put this out in the universe and say I'm gonna drop the rope.
If I say it, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, name it, claim it.
Yes, yeah. You name it into existence.
Yeah, that yes, girl, yes.
Yes.
And I was like, you're kidding me. I was like,
he was not.
Well, because I was still
impressed.
I was still doing everything wrong. I barely got up, and I was like muscling it in.
But it was me.
Well, no, because I was like,
no,
wait.
I think the thing was, it wasn't that I couldn't do it. You were like, how are you going to get up when every time we go or take Harper and you're sitting there with her? Yeah. And so that was more like your thing was like, you're not going to have a chance to like basically drop
and
the
that's
rope.
Not to question your ability.
I think it was.
It was a little bit. I
think you were questioning my ability.
And I was like, you're mediocre at making sandwiches, let alone getting them. Jokes, folks. Jokes. Relax.
I'm pretty good.
She's really good. Which I don't know the last time I had a sandwich that you made.
You don't eat sandwiches. That's the problem. You don't eat bread. I'll make you a lettuce wrap.
Oh, that'd be nice. So where was I going with this?
The goal.
Well, like to me, the way I heard you saying that was you named one of our friends, a female, and you're like, she dropped the rope in the first year. Like my goal is to drop the rope, and to me it felt a little more because I know the competitive nature of you sometimes is like it's like this untamed animal that like if
comes out sometimes.
It comes out sometimes, but it's never like oh yeah we're doing this thing, I'm gonna be number one. You're like, I'm just gonna have fun.
Yeah.
But if when you go like I have this like I'm in like we were saying I'm in front of you skiing, I'm gonna make sure you don't get like.
I think it's when I know I can accomplish that I set this goal. When it's something
What made you go like? Oh, this person has been wake surfing for like 2 years, let's say.
I don't know.
What made you go, I could do that? Like
because
this year?
I went once and I knew, even though I still was like using the rope and not
there's no
getting
slack
it,
or anything, yeah.
No, but I knew I could feel the wave and like it reminded me a little bit of snowboarding because you use that like front back motion and then like.
What would you use for a back motion on a snowboard? Because from what I remember,
it's the same. If you want to
carve it sideways.
You do sideways, but like if you do go backwards a little, you stop. If you go frontwards, you go faster.
I think it's been so long that I snowboarded that I'm like.
I mean, it's very like gradual, but I think I just felt comfortable on the board that I knew I could do it. Maybe that's why. I don't know. That's kind of being I don't know, like. Overconfident, but
you're one of those people who grew up in a healthy living environment where like you can do anything you put your mind to.
Love you so much. Yeah. Also, you've been using that voice very frequently.
You like it? Yeah. What do you think about that voice?
Yeah, I think you should do it in the bedroom. I love you.
You want to see something that'll feel good?
Harder.
Now let's make it weird. I mean, it sounds like now that I'm thinking about it.
You wear your glasses and do that voice?
It sounds a little Kermit the Froggy.
It does.
Hey, Kermit the Frog.
It does sound like Kermit.
Little weird, Miss Piggy?
Yeah. Oh no. Oh no.
That's good.
Also, never call me Miss Piggy in the bedroom.
I know. After I said it, I was like, this feels wrong.
As it was coming out of your mouth,
feels like an attack. It feels like an attack. Yeah. No, it's noted. Noted. Definitely won't happen again. So going back to the psychos.
No, we were going back to the goal I set for myself.
Right.
And then you thought it was very unrealistic.
We jumped so many topics right now, from how to wash an exotic car.
I know. What is going on?
Seeing a person that you haven't seen in a while, to setting this unrealistic goal.
Yeah. But anyway, this last weekend we went to McCall and... Well, before this last weekend, the last time we went was about 2 weeks ago, right?
The cabin. Because I don't think a lot of people know what the cabin is.
Not the cabin, okay. But we went on the boat with a couple families. There was 2 boats. And that was the first time you dropped the rope.
That was the first time I dropped the rope.
It was like a couple of weeks ago, right?
Yeah, it was, yep.
And that was huge because, like, you doing it before me was huge. I was like,
what did that do?
You know what, though?
I
wasn't jealous. I was so excited. Yeah.
You're very supportive. You and I do a good job of being very supportive. I think if it was
another girl, I would have been a little bit more jealous. But because it's like you've gone more than I have, you've put in more work than I have, like trying to figure this thing out.
Sure.
And I was just really excited. Yeah. And so to see you do that was like, oh, that's awesome. And so when we went to went to the cabin this weekend, we took the boat up and the water
was horrible.
The water was It was stupid.
It was
the worst.
so turbulent. There's so many boats going left and right.
So choppy. There's just too many waves. Yeah.
And typically when you bring the boat closer to the shore and ride like that, like 40 feet away from the shore, 50 feet away from the shore, like it's typically calmer, but here, not even that. Yeah. It's like you really got to go on the back.
I had a hard time even getting up because it was so choppy. The minute you get up, a wave comes at your side and you're like out because you're not strapped into the board. So it's like once a wave hits you in the right like section or like that right direction, you just kind of fall.
We become such nerds now that we like, oh yeah, the water is
it's too choppy.
It's too choppy. Yeah. You know the water's good. And check out this lake.
Yeah.
It's got good water.
Oh, that's a clean wave.
Look at that wave. That's your wave right there. Oh, that's a wave right there. Yeah. We're such nerds now.
But we went. It was just us two, and then my dad came as the flagger.
Yeah, you have to have 3 people on the boat.
Taking videos.
It was cute. It was one of those prime scenarios where like supportive parent.
Yeah.
Because he like got excited. Really good videos of you.
Yes.
So on a boat, whenever you wake surf or wake boat or wake ski, you need to have 3 people: a driver, a person who flags down when somebody's in the water, and then the person doing the thing.
Right.
And if you don't have the third
person, right?
Legally, you'll get a ticket by the
Sheriff.
water patrol, the sheriff. But it was cute. Like your dad was like, he's like, I got good videos of you, and I got videos of her, and like you.
Yeah, I saw him almost every time I got up. He was
recording,
and you too.
Yeah, it was fun.
Also, I drove the boat for the very first time.
You did great. You did great.
Proud of myself.
Did you enjoy driving the boat?
I did the second time. The first time I was very nervous because you have to be so aware of your surroundings. It's not like driving a car where there's lanes and like everything's marked out for you. There's traffic lights, there's stop signs, there's lanes, there's turning lanes. This is just like what's the word I'm looking for? It's just common sense, I guess, right? It's like if somebody's coming towards you and you look like you're gonna hit each other, obviously like turn, right? So you just have to be so aware,
or kind of veer towards the left because you're gonna, with time and distance.
And also turning was a little bit a learning curve for me because it's like you turn, but like it takes a second for the boat to actually like turn, especially if you're not, you don't have a lot of what is it, like you're neutral or something and you're trying to turn the boat. It's gonna be really slow, and then the waves affect it. So it's like learning kind of that the water's
the feel for it. Yeah,
it's a feel for it. The water's different.
And the physics of the water, right? Because like on a car, you're strapped, the wheels and the wheel are tight.
Gravity,
and they're touching the ground tightly. So every turn you feel, and it's every...
You do. The boat, you don't. Everything's just like this, like floating.
Yeah, you're floating. Motion. And all you can do navigate is, because the thing with these boats, like specifically wake surfing boats, is some boats, the motor's out back, and if you turn the steering wheel left, the motor and the propeller will turn left. Right, and therefore causing you to go to the other side. With a wake surf boat, this is really nerdy, but you have a propeller that's fixed. It does not turn. It's underneath the boat in the middle, and then there's a little fin in the back
that will turn it.
When you turn the steering wheel, that the fin is what moves.
Oh,
and so it's a lot slower of a turn.
It's a slower, yeah. So like I'll be like turning, and like once you fall into the water, you have to kind of spin around and get that person.
There's a whole technique of getting that person because and I have like a way of teaching people. I've taught you and a couple other my buddies where if you don't follow those techniques, when you turn around and you do basic common sense, be like, okay, I'm going to turn the engine off.
You're too far away.
Well, what ends up happening is those waves that you just created that were really deep, that were meant for surfing, splash in front of your boat, and now you have like 2 inches of water inside the floorboards of your boat. Yeah. It's like everybody gets wet. It's not enjoyable. So there's like a technique to be like, here's how you do it so you don't get a bunch of water and you don't disturb like this ride that everybody's on.
It is. It's like all about feeling it out and like learning those techniques. And I did feel like the second time that I drove it, when you went the second time, that I felt a little bit more comfortable. But I also don't know that lake very well. So
we haven't been there in a long time.
There are a lot of boats. So I'm trying to like, like how do I avoid these boats while trying to still see you, when you fall.
I had first impressions of you the very first time I jumped in the water and you got behind the seat, the steering wheel. And first thing that struck me was, first of all, you did everything right, in terms of like getting me out of the water and like getting me to start surfing. And what I've noticed is there's a handful of people that I've taught how to drive these boats in terms of like, again, not to get water inside. And so it's all technique based.
Yeah.
Just follow these steps. And I can't tell you how many times, right? So like if the wave is on the left side of the boat and I'm surfing on the left side of the boat, when you're done riding it, you have to do this thing where like, okay, they're in the water. turn the engine slowly down, put into neutral, count to 5 Mississippis, and then if they're on the left side, you're supposed to turn the boat to the right side, the opposite side of the way thing. I can't tell you how many times I've taught that to guys, and then the first time they do it, first 1 or 2 times they do it, they forget which side to go because they're doing like long divisions in their head for some reason. And then they go to the left side, and now they get hit with water, and they're like, oh, sorry. With you, I remember the first time I fell, like I'm like watching you, I was like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, and then you're turning the opposite side. I was like, oh, she followed my instructions like, to the T. I was like, you did it exactly right. And so like that's the first thing. And I've done that without the guys. Like most guys are like, oh yeah, he forgot, he went the other way. Now they're gonna get slammed with the water and whatever. But I was like, good for her. I was like, I love when it's like, trust me, just follow these instructions, you'll be fine. And you do it. I'm like, I love this.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm just going to do what he says.
Yeah. Well, it's cool that you remembered it. I think that's what a lot of people do. It's not that they're going against my instructions, but they're like, oh, I forgot which way did I go? You know, so it's kind of.
It's funny because it was either me and my dad driving. My dad obviously did not want to drive.
Well, it was cool because it was like.
But it was nice. It was nice now knowing like I can do it. And so the next time we go, you know, if we have the kids, just us and the kids, I could still drive.
Oh, 100%. And you know, technically, we could do it two of us alone. Like it's just like I know how to drive the boat, hop out, get close to you, throw you the rope, put a flag up in the air, get up and we're going again. And I've done that with guys, but you know, it's just a matter of just avoiding a ticket. But it was cool, man. I really, sorry, I didn't mean to call you man, but I really enjoyed you making me surf you. I surf your wave.
You did surf my wave. But going back to why you started this conversation about wake surfing.
People are weird that come up to you that you don't remember them from.
It would be funny if we could spin it back around and somehow tie it back.
Oh, we have to do it.
But I ended up, even though the waves were super choppy, the very last time I went, I was like, well, you told me, you're like, first put the rope in your teeth.
I just realized I hijacked this conversation.
I know. Yeah.
Go ahead.
He made it all about himself. Yeah.
No, it's about me being excited about how well you drove the boat. But go ahead. So choppy waves. We got a little bit further back down in there.
Yeah. So, I remember you told me, cause I mean, the last couple times I've gone, even at Lucky Peak, I've had enough slack for a long time where I technically could drop it, but I'm not comfortable enough to do that. So this time you told me, you should try putting the rope in between your teeth first, like the handle.
Yeah.
Because then you still have it, but it's forcing you basically to like feel out the wave and making sure you can stay in there. So I did that first. Because
it's like first of all, I think it's horrible advice, right? Because I think somebody can really
don't do that.
Have their teeth pulled out of their, you know what I mean? I think the principle behind it is if you have enough slack and you're just holding onto the rope, you're still kind of going like, oh, my plan B is right here. But if the rope is in your mouth and you have enough time to like grab it with your hands.
Which you usually do.
You usually do. There's a few, like maybe 3 Mississippis.
You can feel,
You'd be like, oh, I'm about to lose it. Grab it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But that rope makes you go, okay, I have no training wheels. I really have to focus on. That's what the rope kind of does.
Yeah. And so I did that. And then the second time I went, I was like, oh, I'm just going to do it. So I threw it.
And you did awesome. I mean, you threw it in, and right away, I think when I first threw the rope in, I made it to like 30 Mississippis because I dropped it. I goes 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
Because you kind of get in your head. And you're like, oh,
went
am I doing
a full minute.
Yeah.
The first time you did it on the most choppiest water I could imagine. Like it was so choppy that I saw turbulence on the wave.
Yeah.
Like, it was
we couldn't even get the wake right because it was so choppy.
It was white. Usually you don't want to have this white water on it.
Yeah. But even with like everything, all the ballast and stuff, everything being right, it was just so choppy. The wave, wasn't that clean. Oh my gosh.
And you dropped it and you were like, cool, I'm off this for like a minute or 2 minutes.
That was fun.
That was incredible. I was more happier for you doing it than I was for me.
Oh, babe.
Well, we support each other in a lot of things.
I felt the same. I was so excited.
Yeah. It's cool. Because, like somebody worked hard for this to achieve that. It's not like,
oh, it was my first time. It's crazy because I think it looks easier than it really is. Like when you see somebody doing it, you're like, oh, I could do that, right? And then you get up there and you're like, oh, this is hard. Because it's like every little bump kind of throws you off because you're not attached to the board. And so being able to, kind of like set a goal and do it, it's kind of fun.
I think more married couples need to do more cool things like this.
Just activities in general.
Well, yes, because here's the thing. There's and I don't want to start like a whole nother topic right now as we're wrapping up, but like I think there's this thing where like people go, we need to do more things together to be more relatable.
Right.
And that seems very forceful. But when there's truly a thing, like I remember meeting one of the couples when I did Roby Creek, when I did that half marathon there. One of the gals that ran it, I worked with her. She was a nurse. I was a respiratory therapist, but it's her and her fiance that were running it. And their thing is like, we run marathons. That's our thing. Like, and so like you'll see that, like you'll be driving, you'll see in the back of a pickup truck like 2 legit real mountain bikes. And like one is like this like masculine one, and then one is like this kind of feminine pink one, but like both legit. And you go, oh, that's your thing. Like we were driving from the cabin, and I was like, but they had this like tent set up. It was a trailer, like really minimalistic, like a pop-up trailer with like off-roading style, and it had like a pitcher of water, a grill on it, and I mean the thing was like maybe 5 feet by 5 feet. It was tiny.
Yeah.
Clearly people who don't have kids, right? And they had like 2 mountain bikes, and I was like, oh, your thing is like you go to these remote places,
you mountain bike,
and then you mountain bike. That's your thing. To us, like we have a few things. Like our thing is like skiing. Our thing is wake surfing now that we got into it. But I think more married people.
We had running for a while too.
We had running for a while.
We did the half together.
Yeah, we did the half marathon together. We'd compete. We still run on the treadmill in the garage, but like we run independently, and we kind of be like, "What'd you do? I did that."
Right.
And I think more people need to have this like non-forceful thing, like. If you both truly do like golf,
or even if you don't like it, but like make the effort if the other person likes it to try it. Like maybe you don't like it, maybe you do, but like try. Like you for a really long time hated running when you first got married, but over time you kind of were like disciplined yourself and trained for it, where you've done a few halves. Roby Creek, super hard half, and I thought that was cool that it was like. I think you saw that I liked running. I don't know if this is the case.
No, I think
How dare you?
Well, I wish it was the case. I think that would have been a really.
But you got into it, and then it was like, well, he's into it, and then between that time, I've had kids, and so, but it was like we kind of both came back to that running side, and I was like, well, he's done a half. I want to do a half, and so it was kind of like this, a little bit of the competitive side, but also like wanting to do something together, where it was like, well, I enjoy running. You now enjoy running. You didn't before, but you do now. Let's do something together. And it was like we tried skiing together, And a lot of it is maybe you try something new that you both haven't done before.
I think that's what it is. I think this is why we're both kind of really having so much fun with wake surfing, because like we're both at the same level. And if one person has a little bit more competitive advantage, which you have this competitive gene in you. You're like, oh, he got up. Oh. Watch my beer. Hold my beer. Check this out. Like, and I think that's fun because you're both kind of growing together. I don't think it would be fun if one person was doing like 360s, and the other person's like, I've never. You
have to be on the same level. I actually agree with that, because there's a lot of people I know who like their husbands are golfers, like really pretty good,
really good,
but they don't like going with them because it's like they get frustrated with them because they get annoyed because they're like on a different level.
They're reading their body language
of advanced, where it's like
Craig's not happy.
Oh yeah, but if you both try something new that you haven't done before, I think it does give you this like you're on the equal playing field, right? And so it's like, let's learn this together versus you trying to teach me, because then that becomes kind of weird. I know like sometimes if like one spouse is trying to teach the other, it just becomes this kind of don't tell me what to do kind of thing,
I get it. No, 100%. Kind of like you're asking me to teach you how to drive a stick shift so you can drive the sports car.
Yeah.
Do you know how paranoid I would be the day that you're like, hey,
by myself,
we're doing a girls thing, can I take the car? And I'd be like, sure. I would probably be like, hey, you didn't hit a curb, did you?
Yeah,
you didn't hit a curb. Remember, just don't hit a curb, please.
Yeah, I would never take it unless I'm like so confident.
Super confident.
Yeah.
And I would trust you because you follow those little tactile technique-based things, you know what I mean?
Directions,
you know what I mean? Knowing that you followed everything to the T on the boat, I'm like, well, yeah, sure. Like, why not?
We'll see.
No, you're not taking the Porsche.
That's why he got it manual transmission, folks.
Well, who gets a sports car in an automatic?
I would.
Do you know Michael Jordan? I remember a story. We got to wrap this up. Michael Jordan got a Ferrari for his wife back in like the late 90s. And because Ferraris are not really automatic, there's like just a Tiptronic, so no clutch pedal, but like paddle shifting. I think he spent like another like $80,000 to convert it to be an automatic because his wife wouldn't drive it. And then he got a very expensive divorce. And look at that, it worked out well.
This podcast has taken very
full circle,
very many turns.
I liked it. It was fun.
It was fun though. Yeah. So I don't know what we'll title it, but it'll be a hodgepodge. That's what we'll title it.
No, we'll title it. What was it? I was gonna say. Oh, you probably don't remember me.
Yeah. That's good. Oh man!
All right,
share in the comments if you guys have any experiences like that.
Look at your call to action. Look at you. You're a real teamer.
Better.
By the way,
1 year later,
people are gonna hear this before the next video that you are officially in the YouTube videos as
you
a
guys
co-host.
need to check it out because it's gonna be good.
So
kind of embarrassing for me, but good.
Nothing embarrassing.
I didn't break anything yet, so we're there. I just am learning.
You
so
didn't. I mean, maybe you split some wood with screws. I'm not about it. It's fine. It's fine. So Irina's now officially my co-host on the Mr. Build It channel, and it is
slowly creeping up on that role.
Freaking hoot.
It's fun.
This girl dresses up cute. Doesn't do.
I didn't even wear a ponytail today. I just had my hair down.
Oh my gosh! Next time you're gonna come in stilettos. You're like,
oh,
when do I work?
Yeah.
All right, folks. Share this podcast. Let us know in the comments what you think about it, and check out the next video.
Bye.
Bye.